So, this week's video was meant to be the next level of the DBD iceberg, but I think you'll agree with me that this new chapter takes precedence. Our new killer is Nemesis. Each time a survivor blinds or stuns you using a pallet... You know, I had to make that joke. It's done now. I'll never do it again. We can move on. I'm genuinely sorry. Nemesis is colossally huge. So big, in fact, that he actually carries the survivors under his arm. He moves at 4.6 meters per second, or 115%, and has a terror radius of 32 meters. His power is fascinating. By holding M2, you charge up a tentacle attack. This is ranged and varies based on your mutation rate, which has 3 tiers. At mutation rate 2, Tentacle Strike can destroy pallets and breakable walls, and at mutation rate 3, Tentacle Strike's range increases. When hitting a survivor with your tentacle attack, the survivor becomes contaminated and your mutation rate increases. If you hit a contaminated survivor with your tentacle attack, then they take damage. Contamination can be cured by finding one of 4 vaccines in the map. These do not respawn and are highlighted to you as a survivor when contaminated. In addition to this, when playing as Nemesis, zombies free roam the map. This is without a doubt one of the coolest things we've seen in Dead by Daylight for a while. Zombies afflict players of contamination, or if they're already contaminated, then they injure you. Zombies can be destroyed by Nemesis's M1 or M2, or by stunning them as a survivor. Zombies can also be blinded by players, causing them to stand still for some time, allowing you to escape. Finally, Nemesis can see the location of all zombies on the map. This is a really interesting power. It's nothing massive. The power itself isn't necessarily hugely ambitious, but I think the zombies are extremely cool. I'd love some sort of mode where it's just the zombies, but there's like 300 of them. From my initial playing, it doesn't look like the zombies really have that much impact on the game, other than being a slight inconvenience, but they're still extremely cool and extremely creepy. At least once now, I've walked into a room and there's been a zombie in there waiting for me. Nemesis is not a stealth killer, and yet he has a mechanic that makes you jump. That's incredibly cool. The new killer perks are Lethal Pursuer, which allows you to see the location of all survivors on the map for 7 seconds at the start of the trial. Hysteria, which causes all injured survivor to suffer from Oblivious for 30 seconds when hitting a survivor from healthy to injured. And Eruption, which, after kicking a generator, highlights it yellow. When downing a survivor with a basic attack, all highlighted generators explode and lose 6% progress. Any survivor working on a highlighted generator will scream and be inflicted with incapacitated for 14 seconds. This perk has a 90-second cooldown. The new survivors are Leon and Jill. Not a huge amount to talk about them, but it looks like Capcom literally provided them with assets for this. They look incredible. Really, really good job here. Really, really nice. Jill's perks are Counterforce, which allows you to cleanse totems 20% faster. When cleansing a totem, the aura of the totem furthest from you is highlighted for 4 seconds, and you gain an additional 20% buff to cleansing speed, and this stacks for every single totem you cleanse. Wow, I'm so happy that I made a video on fastest totem cleansing literally 100 hours before this chapter was revealed. Resurgence gives you 50% healing progress when being unhooked or unhooking yourself, and Blast Mine activates after repairing a generator for 66% progress, and allows you to trap the generator by pressing the active ability button. The trap stays active for 45 seconds, and if the killer kicks a trap generator, it explodes, stunning them and blinding anyone nearby. Think of it like a pallet being dropped on the killer while a firecracker is used. Leon's new perks are Bite the Bullet, which stops you from making any noise, including grunts of pain, while healing. Failed healing skill checks also do not alert the killer and cause only 1% regression rather than 10%. Rookie Spirit, which, once completing 3 skill checks, allows you to see the auras of any regressing generator for the remainder of the trial. And finally, Flashbang. After repairing a generator for 50 seconds and jumping in a locker while empty-handed, you can craft a flashbang. Flashbangs create a noise notification and blind anyone looking at the grenade when it goes off. Which, by the way, when I was faced with one of these, I instinctively looked away, a pullover from my CSGO days, and it doesn't blind you if you aren't looking at it. It's really cool. Stop running away from me! I want a Mori! Oh. Get fucked. There is also a new map! Raccoon City Police Department is mostly indoors and with a courtyard and roof area. It's phenomenally huge, perhaps the biggest we've ever seen, and features a lot of long corridors. It's a great looking map, and I imagine it will be huge amounts of fun for certain killers and no fun at all for others. In my experience of it so far, games feel a lot slower than usual, which includes both gens getting repaired and hooks. It could also just be that it's the PTB and people are checking out the new stuff rather than playing properly, but we'll see. There isn't a whole lot else in the patch notes for this PTB and presumably release. There's a new tutorial system with a refreshed UI and a solo mode of bots, but it leaves a little to be desired. When they announced it on the stream, they did say it was part of the tutorial, but I was sort of hoping that that didn't exclude it as being useful as a training ground sort of thing. Unfortunately, you don't get to choose which character you play or the perks you take. If you play as Survivor, you're Dwight with no perks. If you play as Trapper, you're Trapper with his default perks. I imagine the inclusion of bots is part of the zombies thing. They must have had to have rigged up every single map with waypoint nodes. I've no doubt we'll see some new stuff relating to this feature in the future, and the very existence of it is a big deal, even if it doesn't seem to be as fleshed out as I'd first hoped. The chapter will be dropping on June 15th, and the PTB is playable for PC gamers right now by right-clicking the game in your Steam library, pressing manage, pressing betas, and then selecting public test build. I wanted to do a video covering everything exciting in the live stream rather than this, which is information that pretty much every DBD YouTuber will be producing probably earlier than me due to my more detailed editing style, but I was pretty disappointed with the live stream at large. They hinted at some big features coming in the future, like new totem-based boon perks for survivors and a change to the Moaning key system to make them based on progression, but despite talking for 10 minutes about these features, they didn't really say anything.
We're discussing a new approach now to triggering Moris that is no longer based on playing and offering, but rather integrated into the
why are you trying to use as many words as possible?
This new feature would mean that, in effect, killers have to earn their Moris rather than be granted the opportunity by simply playing and offering. We're looking to move away from the perception
Just tell us what
of
it
Moris
is!
being...
A lot of the live stream felt like padding for time or bringing shareholders up to speed with the project via buzzwords and a lot of vague information. They made vague suggestions that they'd be improving matchmaking and existing gameplay mechanics, but didn't say how or what that was. The Year 6 roadmap isn't actually a roadmap, but a suggestion that we might get 1 or 2 new gameplay mechanics this year. No idea of when or how. The Realm Beyond update section was basically just a trailer they uploaded to their YouTube channel months ago with a long-winded justification for why they're doing this that... We all already knew that. We were all already on board with the Realm Beyond. You don't need to spend 10 minutes trying to convince us further. The 5th anniversary celebration is just the 4th anniversary celebration with a different crown model.
You're going to find these crown pedestal items appearing.
Is it the same as last year?
Pop up, disappear if you're too late to gather them, but if as a survivor or a killer, you can find them.
It's the same as last year!
And then as a survivor, either escape or a killer finish the match. What's going to happen is you will then unlock a crown cosmetic for this character.
Stop pretending it's new. Just say that we're doing the same thing we did last year.
Of original characters that we created over this crazy period of 5 years now.
I don't want to come across as entitled or anything, but it was pretty strange to see such a great and fantastic chapter reveal, followed by no explanation of the chapter's mechanics or perks or the zombies, and instead an hour of not really saying anything despite using a million words to say it. I don't think I'll be watching next year's live stream. The chapter's amazing. They've done some incredible work on the chapter, and there's a lot of really interesting stuff coming on the horizon. I just wish the live stream was a little bit more engaging. That's all, that we'd found out a little bit more. I'm going through something of a mental health crisis at the minute, so if my tone is negative in live streams or videos, that's the reason why. Thank you for sticking with me during this time, and I will see you in the next one.
For real. But that's not all.
How do I lose a... Let's not talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Why do I keep thinking she's going to play like a real player? Of course she's not.